Whoa, I just finished watching that new Bob Odenkirk movie, Nobody. It just released today on demand. I want to talk about it. We're going to talk about it right after the intro. Welcome back to the DL Jones Book Show. I'm your host, DL Jones. On this show, I talk about all types of story-related topics. Today, I'm going to be talking about the movie Nobody, the John Wick style action movie starring Bob Odenkirk. I just finished watching it less than 20-30 minutes ago. I haven't watched any reviews on it. I haven't read anything about it. So I would just want to talk about this movie. I had a lot of fun watching this movie. I want to talk about it. I want to tell you what I thought about it. There may be some spoilers. I'm not going to do too many spoilers, but there may be some minor spoilers. So I suggest that if you haven't watched the movie yet, I have a link in the description where you can just click that link and get the movie from Amazon Prime and watch it. And come back here, check out this review, leave some comments, let's talk about it. And if you want to be kept up to date with all types of movie reviews, TV show reviews, any type of character analysis, plot, story talk, anything like that, subscribe to this channel, hit the subscribe button, make sure you click like, leave a comment. And we're going to get right in on this review right now because I can't wait. I want to tell you what I thought about it and I want to talk about this. Okay, so Nobody is a movie that kind of snuck up on me. This in the same way that John Wick did. You know, I kind of heard about John Wick like when it was really close to being released. I heard about it. I saw the trailer. I was excited about it. Went and saw it, and of course, you know, like everyone else, I loved it. I love the John Wick series. So Nobody came about the same way. I hadn't heard about it. It just popped up on my radar at some point. I was like, okay, I'm interested in this. You know, I didn't see the trailer. I just heard about it. You know, I just heard people talking about it. But I was like, yeah, I'm into this. You know, Bob Odenkirk, he's, you know, Saul from Better Call Saul, you know. And I've never seen him in a role like this before. I mean, he's played serious roles, he's played comedic roles, but I've never seen him play like an action star. And I think this is his first leading action role, you know. But yeah, I was like, yeah, I'm curious. I want to see how this turns out. And I love John Wick style movies. I love shoot 'em ups, you know. So of course I was down when I first heard about this movie, saw the trailer, and that just made me even more excited for it. So then finally today, it was out in the theaters for a while. I want to say about a month, 2 months, but I'm still not going to theaters yet, so I didn't go and see it. But it released today on demand. I purchased it, watched it, and now I'm about to do my review of it. And I'll tell you, I really like this movie. You know, I enjoyed this movie, you know. So let me tell you the story of this movie so far. Okay, so Bob Odenkirk plays Hutch. His name is Hutch. I can't remember what his last name is, but he's Hutch. You know, it starts off, he's kind of like this guy that's kind of just living like a kind of crummy life. You know, he got a wife and kids, but it's like his wife is not really speaking to him. They got scenes that starts off where they're in the same bed, but they got like a pillow wall between them. You know, I'm guessing they don't even want to see each other when they go to sleep. And then he got a son that kind of seems like he don't really respect him. Actually, the first time we see the son was probably the situation where the son got to where he kind of didn't respect him, you know. But what happens is, you know, in the middle of the night, somebody breaks into the house and he comes downstairs and you know, you got two people in masks and stuff. They go to break into his house and they trying to steal money, which of course he has no money in the house. You know, he's like, you know, I pay for everything with debit cards, you know. So during that break-in, the son kind of, you know, sneaks up and puts the one guy, takes the one guy down and puts him in a headlock. And you see a hint of what Bob Odenkirk's character is. You know, he got a golf club and he comes along and he's, you know, got the drop on the other person, but something stops him. You know, he doesn't do anything. He puts the golf clubs down. He tells his son to get up, you know, and then the two people who was robbing the house, you know, leave. And which, of course, at that point, you know, everybody's kind of like making fun of him. It was like, you know, everybody heard that he had to drop on the person and didn't do anything. Even the police kind of made jokes saying stuff like, if that was my family, you know, you know what I would have did to those people breaking in the house. So kind of like he kind of lived like normal life where he's just a normal guy, but he's kind of like somebody that everybody kind of looks down on, nobody. And when I first heard the name of the movie, Nobody, I had the wrong idea about it. So I was thinking of nobody, meaning as he's just an average, regular person living his day. There's nothing special about him. That's how I kind of looked at it, and that was, how he was trying to be portrayed. But, as the movie started and things go on, the first part of the movie go on, you realize that he's a nobody, like in, everybody thinks of him as nothing, as a nothing person. Everybody kind of looks down on him and they kind of, he's just like a nothing, nobody person in that respect. Not as in, people don't know what he's about and he's just blending in, but more so like he's just like a down on his luck slap of a man. Nobody really pays attention to him. Nobody really thinks highly of him. Everybody kind of have no respect for him, kind of treats him like he's just, just not, like he's less of a man, But after the robbery, he comes home the next day, after hearing it from everybody, coworkers, bad looks from his son and wife, and neighbor kind of making little comments. After just hearing it from everybody, he comes home from work, and his little girl, his daughter, which of course she's like, she thinks really highly of her dad, but she, she's looking for something that was missed and that he thought was stolen in the robbery the night before, and that was her kitty cat bracelet. So, and I kind of look at that as sort of like the similar thing in John Wick where they had the dog being killed is what set John Wick off. That was like, yo, I got to go take care of this. The kitty cat bracelet seems like it's the thing on this one that kind of set him off, They didn't make a big focus on it, but that was a thing. It was like when he saw that she was looking for a kitty cat bracelet, and he's thinking back to the events of the night before and realized that kitty cat bracelet is probably something that the people who robbed the house took. He wasn't having it no more. He just turned around, left out the house, closed the door, and went and hunted down those people that tried to rob him the night before. Which of course, that ended up just ending. He found him and that ended in really quick. But coming back from that was when everything went crazy. He ended up getting into something that caused the whole events of the rest of the movie. Basically, he ended up getting into something with a group of guys, which one of them happened to be a very important person, which brought a bunch of heat on him, and which caused them to come to his house, come after his family, which he also wasn't having. And everything just went crazy from there, But yeah, this movie kind of reminds me a lot of John Wick. Similar thing. You got a guy trying to live his life, trying to live a quiet life, and people come into his life and brings his past out of him. And you find out his past, he was a very bad man, So yeah, that's basically the gist of the movie. Let me tell you what I thought about the movie, things about the movie that I liked, things about it that I didn't like. I'll get to that. We'll be talking about that for a few minutes. All right, so if you watch my kind of review of the first 2 episodes of The Equalizer, Queen Latifah's TV show, one thing I kind of talked about a lot in that movie was that the main character is, if I can believe the main character, do I buy what the main character is trying to sell me? Like in that show, what I kept saying is, can I look at that show and can I see Queen Latifah on stage doing stuff, fighting, having hand-to-hand combat and all of that kind of stuff, and can I buy it? Can I watch that and buy that person? Which at that time when I did that review, I had trouble with that when it came to Queen Latifah's character in that TV show. But I come across the same situation here. Do I buy Bob Odenkirk as a John Wick style character? He's a little bit different to Queen Latifah because he does have that look. He does have maybe not like he's the type of person that's going to go and beat everybody up, but he has he can portray a serious, don't mess with me type of look. You know, he has the face, he has the serious face. Even though he has done a lot of comedic roles in the past, he does have that face where he can be a serious person. He can be the type of person that you would look at on screen and be like, okay, I need to take this person seriously. And that came across in this movie. You know, he didn't really I don't think he cracked a smile throughout the whole movie. He probably, his face was kind of balled up throughout the whole movie. And he went from being like seemed like somebody that's just having a horrible life to being somebody that you don't want to mess with, you know, real quick. And I bought it. I believed it. Now, there's more to it than that. Now, one thing about him, you know, playing a John Wick style character, there's several things that John Wick does that's very exciting that I like to watch on screen, and that's hand-to-hand combat and shooting guns and stuff. And he kind of did it pretty good. You know, I bought both of those, even though the style between his character Hutch in Nobody and Keanu Reeves' character John Wick in the John Wick movies, their style of fighting is kind of different. John Wick is kind of like the martial artist. You know, his fights look like highly choreographed martial arts fight scenes, whereas Bob Odenkirk's character Hutch in Nobody, he's a street fighter. He's a brawler. You know, his fights are dirty. His fights are nasty. He's getting it just as much as he's giving it. His fights, when they're over with, he look like he's been in a fight, you know, and he's been hurt. You know, he come out on top. You know, but you know, he's taking punches, he's getting hurt and cut up and bruised up and stuff, just like the people he's fighting. You know, usually the big difference is just him versus a group of people. You know, instead of it being one-on-one fights. But yeah, it's not no flashy, you know, martial arts style move here. It's just him brawling, you know, street fighting, and I bought it. Those fight scenes were good. They were like dark, they were grimy, they were tough, and I just enjoyed it. I enjoyed those fight scenes. The very first fight scene they had was on a bus, you know, and I can't remember if they showed clips of this in the trailer or not, but it was a bus fight scene, you know, and you know, it was a tough fight scene. You know, it was just a tough fight scene, and he got down and dirty with it. He got hurt just like everybody else did, and it was just a tough fight scene, and I was in from that fight scene. Yeah, and I enjoyed it. It was pretty good. Like, while the fight scenes between the two movies, Nobody and John Wick, are different, I still enjoy both of them, and I enjoyed the fight scenes in Nobody. And I have to say, Bob, I bought it, Bob Odenkirk, I bought it. I bought you as that guy, you know. But yeah, I enjoyed the fight scenes. Now, the second part of it is the shootouts, the gun scenes, and all of that kind of stuff. Now, in Nobody, the shootouts came into play kind of later in the movie, you know, and I bought it. I bought the shootout scenes. They were actually really, really fun, you know, especially towards the end. There was a big scene, the big finale. It was really, really fun until it got too comic bookish. It kind of, like halfway through that ending scene, it kind of got kind of like too over the top, too unbelievable, too comic bookish, but not too much that I didn't enjoy it. I still enjoyed it, but I have to tell you, it did get a little bit much there at the end. Kind of remind me of which I guess all of these movies, that's what they do. The same type of stuff you would see in like those 90s action movies, those over the top, you know, shootouts and fight scenes and stuff like that. You know, it kind of went a little too far at the end, but you know, I was still with it. It was still good. I still enjoyed it. But overall, I liked the movie. I really liked it. I liked it a lot. I don't know. I like John Wick movies. I'll watch any John Wick movie to come out. I can't wait for the next one to come out. I don't even know if there is a next one. I guess they're shooting the next one already. But I can't wait for that to come out. And Nobody, I enjoyed this just as much. Now, I have to say, I do think the John Wick movies are better movies. There are some things about the John Wick movie that doesn't exist in the Nobody series. And one thing is the background story, the world, you know. John Wick has a really interesting world, you know, with the hotel and all of the different factions and all of that kind of stuff. It kind of built out like a whole, like almost like a fantasy style mobster hitman type world, which makes the movie interesting. It gives it kind of a life, you know, beyond just the fight scenes. Nobody kind of didn't have that. you know, his character, now this is a little bit of a spoiler, his character, his past life, the life that nobody knows about, he's what they would call an auditor, and he's the person, he worked for, like, I think the FBI or the CIA or one of them places, but he's the person that they send to take care of things that the law can't, the law can't do about it. Like, if they don't have enough on some person to arrest this person, he's the person that they send to make sure that there's not a person that would be able to defend himself in court anymore. He was that guy, you know. So, you know, they come from a little bit of a different background. He still did basically the same thing that John Wick does, but he did it, you know, for the government instead of, you know, for mobsters and stuff. And it just wasn't a whole lot of background. It was like, that was just it. You know, he was just an FBI guy or a CIA guy. I wasn't clear if it was FBI or CIA. I know at some point he was flashing an old FBI badge, but I don't know if that was his badge or just something he was using. But yeah, it wasn't like a whole fleshed out, you know, background with a bunch of colorful characters dead and all of these facts. It wasn't anything like that. It was just him. The closest they got to that was when they started bringing his family members in. And to be honest with you, I'm not even sure what his family members did either. I mean, they kind of explained him, but he had a brother who was played by the RZA, you know, which throughout the whole movie, you just heard his voice. You didn't see him until the end. And then they had his father. And from what you understand, both of them two are kind of bad men, just like he is. You know, and when I say bad, I mean men that you don't want to mess around with. But I don't know what they did. I don't know why they were bad, other than knowing that that whole family was that type of family, you know. But I don't know what they did. But, you know, they left enough in this movie to where it could be fleshed out in future movies if they decide to make sequels and stuff. It could be fleshed out. You know, there was even a post-credit scene that kind of like opened the door for stuff, you know. But yeah, that's the differences I see. As far as things I didn't like about it, I could say the thing that I didn't like about it is, I know a lot of people don't like this. Like, a lot of people don't like characters that never seem to lose, that seem like every situation they get in, they win, and they just beat everybody and they just kick everybody's butt. A lot of people don't like characters like that. I do. I don't know why I do. I like to see the character to just go in and dominate everything. John Wick was sort of like that. He pretty much, every fight he went into, he dominated them all until he got to like the boss people. You know, like if a whole group of people come in, he would dominate all of them except for their boss. You know, then he would have a little bit of time with them. I like that, you know. Now, Bob Odenkirk's character in Nobody, he was in a fight. In every fight he got in, he knew he was in a fight when it was over with. And you know, I kind of wished it was a little bit more dominant in his fights. There was one scene where he was pretty dominant. I won't spoil it. This was like mostly shooting and stuff. But for the most part, you know, most of his fights, you know, he was in a fight. You know, he got hurt, he got stabbed, he got shot, you know, he got beat up some, he got tossed out of windows, just like everybody else, but he still won all of his fights, of course, you know. And I really do like the character, and I like the story, and I hope they make more. You know, I read something a while ago, about a week or so ago, where they said that there was rumors that there could be like a John Wick Nobody crossover, and I could completely see that. I could see them two crossing paths at some point, because they come from different worlds, so they could exist in the same universe and not, you know, they might know about each other but not really have to deal with each other. I can completely see a movie that crossed those two characters over, and I would love it if that happened. I don't know if this was a rumor based on anything real or just something that people was like wishful thinking type thing, but I would love to see that. It would be awesome. But yeah, Nobody, good movie. Go check it out. Check the description below. Click the link. Go ahead and get that movie and watch it today. It was good. It's worth to watch. But yeah, Nobody, pretty good. I liked it. Liked it a lot, you know. And yeah, I just wanted to get up here and talk about it because I enjoyed it. You know, I enjoyed it a lot. I might watch it again this weekend. These movies like this, those kind of shoot 'em up, fight 'em up movies like that, those are the type of movies that I can watch, you know, over and over again. And I believe I'll be doing that with Nobody. But that's Nobody, Bob Odenkirk. Go check it out. Thank you for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. Congratulations, you made it to the end of the video. while you're here, why don't you check out that video right there? Or maybe that one right there. And while you're at it, go ahead and click that little picture of my image there and subscribe to my channel.